Mathematical thinking is the first component of cognitive development and general knowledge in the Florida Early Learning Standards. This refers to the study of quantities and their relationships. There are 6 areas in which 4-year-olds demonstrate mathematical skills: number sense, number and operations, patterns and seriation, geometry, spatial relations, and measurement. Children are naturally curious about numbers and mathematical concepts. Through rich experiences, their foundational knowledge can grow quickly. Through meaningful experiences and discussions, children can share their understanding of mathematical concepts. This short presentation should help you offer children opportunities to grow their mathematical knowledge. Number sense. Demonstrating understanding of one-to-one correspondence. 4-year-olds are able to demonstrate their knowledge of one-to-one correspondence while counting and comparing objects. Children this age enjoy helping out in the classroom, handing out a napkin to each child at snack time, or passing a rest mat out to each child at nap time. And these type of activities help them gain further understanding of one-to-one correspondence. They are learning that numerals represent a number of objects. For instance, that the numeral 3 represents 3 cookies, but they do need practice with concrete materials to reinforce this skill. At the same time, they are able to count many objects using one-to-one correspondence, though they may still count an object more than once. Number and operations. This is more than and fewer than. This is introducing the concept of sets. Basically, more than is adding, fewer than is subtracting. We use sets to help children stay focused on the math concept. Remember, pre-operational children often can only concentrate on one concept at a time. If we start with 3 blocks and then combine them with 2 more blocks, do we have the same amount that we started with, or do we have more blocks? For fewer than, we just reverse the operation. If I have 5 blocks and I remove or take away 2 blocks, do I have the same amount or fewer blocks? We also sing several songs that take away. 5 speckled frogs, 5 little monkeys jumping on a bed. We add and subtract things all the time. When we take attendance, we talk about children that are not present. We are less 1 person today, so we only have 14 children. When we have snack, we point out that Johnny had 5 goldfish crackers. He ate 2 and now he has. Somehow food and math work very well together. Patterns and seriation. Recognizing and creating patterns introduces children to the concept of order in the world. Identifying and working with patterns helps children see relationships between objects. They can be encouraged to find patterns in nature and in the classroom. Patterns, designs, and repeating arrangements of objects provide the opportunity for children to explore relationships between objects. As 4-year-olds learn to recognize, read, and recreate patterns, they are exploring concepts in math, science, the arts, and even literacy. Noticing and commenting on patterns helps children learn to extend a pattern by figuring out what comes next. 4-year-olds enjoy ordering objects because these objects help them gain control of their world by organizing it. After learning to order objects by one attribute or characteristic, some 4-year-olds begin to explain why they placed objects in a certain order. Ordering and comparing objects introduces children to the logic of mathematical thinking. 4-year-olds are now able to understand the concept of one object being bigger or smaller or heavier or lighter compared to another object. Making comparison is a big part of math and science. The growing expressive vocabulary of 4-year-olds allows them to use terms like more, bigger, softer, heavier to describe the differences between objects. Putting objects in order based on their characteristic is a very difficult skill, and children need many opportunities to experiment, solve problems, and explore objects in this way, independently and with teacher involvement. Geometry understands various two-dimensional shapes, including circles, triangles, squares, rectangles, ovals, and even other not-so-common shapes. 4-year-olds are able to sort and name the shapes in their daily life experiences as teachers and parents draw attention to these shapes. As children become more familiar with shapes, they are able to construct them and begin to analyze details about shapes, how many sides each shape has. They also can show understanding that two-dimensional shapes are the equivalent or remain the same in different orientations. A shape always remains the same shape and keeps the same name regardless of how it is positioned, unlike letters or numerals. 4-year-olds are beginning to understand that, but they need a lot of teacher guidance. They also will understand various three-dimensional shapes, including spheres, cubes, cones, and even other less common shapes. 4-year-olds are able to sort and name three-dimensional shapes through their daily life experiences and rich hands-on play in the block area. As children become more familiar with three-dimensional shapes, they are even able to identify them in the environment. Spatial relations shows understanding of spatial relations and uses position words. Understanding positional words is very important for 4-year-olds' ability to communicate and understand others in the classroom. Teachers can use the classroom and the playground to infuse these words into daily conversations with the children. Concepts of spatial sense and vocabulary development are closely connected. As 4-year-olds continue to develop a sense of their position in relation to objects and people around them, they are increasingly able to describe their position using language. They can understand in front of, behind, under, and above, and are beginning to use these and other positional words in their language. Further examples include playing movement games that incorporate position words, Hokey Pokey and Simon Says. They can arrange doll furniture in a dollhouse and describe what they are doing. They can build block structures that are enclosed and then put animal figures inside the zoo cages. And they can even tell friends, put the shovels and scoops into the basket, or put the lid on top of the water table. They also can understand and tell the difference between orientation terms, which is horizontal, diagonal, vertical. Exposure to rich words is important in developing a 4-year-old's vocabulary. These terms help children to become more descriptive, and they are important in developing spatial knowledge. Measurement. 4-year-olds sort and categorize all sorts of things, and measurement is an extension of that categorizing. They begin to compare differences in the quantity of what is being measured through interesting hands-on activities. Measurement skills are important for 4-year-olds to develop, and 4-year-olds enjoy experimenting with standard and non-standard measurement tools. They love to use rulers, large tape measures, and balance scales, but they can also use their hand and their feet to measure. Both child-initiated and adult-led experiences with measurement activities support the development of this math concept. So these are the standards to use in your daily practice with your children. The chapter you will read this week will also cover important concepts such as diversity in math play, children's math developmental stages, and creating partnerships with families. The best advice I can give you is to have fun with math. If you're having fun with it, so will the children.